As far as the future, the automated market maker, I think also Ripple's been working hard on identity solutions to allow more enterprise adoption, sanctions compliance particularly. Enterprises will not participate in any financial system where they might inadvertently accept money from or send money to like a sanctioned entity, because the penalties are just so high, they just won't do it. And so coming up with some sort of solution to those types of problems, I think is what we're going to be focusing on. Our 2023 emphasis is going to be around removing barriers to enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies. Enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies. Enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies.
The value proposition of XRP is that it has these liquidity pools. There's room in that ecosystem for XRP to compete as an intermediate asset, but it will have to compete on its own merits. What we need to do is grow the pie.
So you heard David Schwartz right there saying, no cryptocurrency is going to be successful by pulling other projects down. What we need to do is grow the pie. So 99% of the tokens will not disappear. We are moving into a tokenized world where everything will be tokenized, where Ripple's whole strategy is tokenization. And you heard it there from David Schwartz. The world we will be most successful in is where there are a lot of tokens and everything is tokenized, and positioning XRP to compete. And that's what the liquidity pools are for. The AMM specification is to position XRP to be the dominant asset because of the protocols and because of the ecosystem that is surrounding it. No single asset, just because it's an asset, can be. The global liquidity solution, you need the protocols, and the automated market maker is a unique implementation at the network layer that's open, neutral, censorship resistant, immutable, and permissionless. At the blockchain layer, there's nothing more fair than an automated market maker, and everyone can contribute and withdraw from public pools of global liquidity, which has been David Schwartz's vision for the past 10 years.
The federated sidechains and the automated market maker, which are the two core enhancements that are going to allow XRP Ledger to leapfrog other networks in the industry. It was always built on an open, public, permissionless, censorship-resistant, immutable, decentralized blockchain or distributed ledger, the XRP Ledger. And we are going to have no longer a single ledger. We're going to have a network of cooperatively interconnected XRPL protocol chains, multi-net of network of networks.
And then with the mechanism that we're working on that will allow the pool to recapture much of the profits that the arbitrage makes, almost as if the pool were arbitraging against itself, we're hopeful that that will incentivize very, very deep pools of liquidity on the XRP ledger that will make movement between tokens very efficient. So that could be, I think that could be a game changer.
There is nothing that I've been more excited about than the automated market maker specification. Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh.
And I know one of the big passion aspects that you have going on right now is XLS30. Can you talk about that chat and XLS30 and what that represents for the ledger?
Yeah, XLS30, the automated market maker, I'm just the mechanics and the mathematics of trading is something that's really exciting to me. And I'm excited for the possibility that that's going to bring, not so much for adding liquidity. It will add liquidity. Personally, that's not what I'm super excited about. What I'm super excited about is the trading strategy that will execute on behalf of token holders and the yield that I think that the people who sort of loan cryptocurrencies and stable coins providing liquidity to the pool will get. So I want to talk about what makes this so amazing to me. Secret sauce is this continuous auction mechanism, which auctions off the right to arbitrage against the automated market maker. So this is something that's completely unique, not available anywhere else. But there's something else going on that's almost more exciting, which is volatility is harvested by the automated market maker. Normally, volatility just results in risk and a reduction in yield. But here, it's a gain in yield. The automated market maker actually implements a trading strategy that converts volatility into yield.
Now, what David Schwartz is describing here when he says trading strategies is the continuous auction mechanism. This allows the AMM pool to recapture all of the trading volatility profits that arbitrageurs earn. So as the price goes up, down, that's not captured by the pool. This is separate from impermanent loss. This is just movements of volatility. So if the price of XRP was $1 at the start of the month, and then it went to $1.50, $1.25, 75 cents to $1.25, then ended the month at $1, the pool doesn't capture any of those profits, but the arbitrageurs do. So they're going to bid up this right to capture that arbitrage because they're going to get free fees. So the pool has fees, usually around roughly 30 basis points. Each pool will be different, but it will be able to capture that volatility, all those profits, and that will come back to those who stake the pool. So this will be additional revenue in addition to the fees that are captured.
Secret sauce that will allow liquidity providers to get more of the profits normally lost to arbitrage, and it'll be bolstered by incentive programs.
You'll have this trustless, censorship-resistant, decentralized liquidity token, which is a claim on the two assets in the pool. So he's most excited about the supply side, not about the transaction side. So when he says, oh, I'm not that interested in liquidity, he means that, well, the liquidity that it's going to provide right out the gate and stuff, it's not as exciting to him. It's the other side. It's the supply side.
We want arbitrageurs to work quicker. We don't want arbitrageurs to make the pool suffer such large losses. So what we did is we gave a designated arbitrager who pays a fee for this execution privileges that will allow them to arbitrage more rapidly than anybody else will. And if they're diligent, they should be able to capture a significant fraction of the arbitrage opportunity. Because the pool sells this privilege, it should reap as its own profit a significant fraction of what the arbitrage would make. So say you can make $100 a day arbitraging against a pool, and I can make $100 a day arbitraging against that same pool. We'll compete, right? We'll bid for that, and maybe I'll bid, $90. And now the pool just made $90 and I only made $10 instead of the pool losing $100 and me making it. So the pool charges for arbitrage rights, and it does it using its own liquidity tokens as the currency by which you buy these arbitrage slots, and it destroys them when they're paid to the pool. So arbitrageurs who want those arbitrage slots have to acquire liquidity tokens either by putting money into the pool or buying them from other people, and then they're destroyed. And if there are fewer liquidity tokens outstanding, the value of each one goes up because it's a claim against the assets of the pool.
Those liquidity tokens that get burned, the XRP and USD that they're a claim of, are distributed to the users, and they accrue into the liquidity token. So when you deposit, say, XRP into the pool, and it swaps it automatically to USD, you get a liquidity token. This liquidity token is a representation of those two assets. It's a guaranteed claim by the XRP ledger blockchain. There is nothing more guaranteed than the blockchain. Nothing in this world. As long as the ledger's running, it's guaranteed. That accrues value. Liquidity is the lifeblood of crypto, and the vast majority of liquidity in crypto is not being used because it is siloed. A significant portion of crypto either sits dormant in the wallets of individual users, the DeFi equivalent of keeping cash under your mattress, or on centralized exchanges. The rest lives across thousands of decentralized protocols, yield farms, and pools that can't readily be accessed by anyone other than their users. A lack of accessible and easy-to-use liquidity is throttling the growth of DeFi, holding back the crypto projects that are building the future of the Internet of Value, that is Web3. In the early days of the Internet, the industry faced a similar issue. It was expensive and difficult to move information, and as a result, local area networks, LANs, were used by large organizations to effectively move data and information around. But that data was stuck, it was siloed within each network because it was too pricey to move. Just as increased bandwidth was available for the Internet of Information to create useful applications for everyday people, improved technology is needed in DeFi to create the Internet of Value. So how do we align incentives between crypto projects and their users, and thus encouraging people to put their money to work in simple and inexpensive liquidity pools? How do we make liquidity in DeFi as seamless, efficient, and simple to use as the modern internet? The answer, just as was the case in Web 1, is to make it cheaper and easier to use. That will unlock the creativity of crypto and enable the creation of DeFi native applications for buying coffee, getting a home loan, sending money to family in another country, or any other number of real-life ways people use their money every day. Automated market makers are the technology that have come so far the closest to making the vision a reality, because they make it easy for crypto users to both deposit money into liquidity pools and get paid rewards for doing so, and pay to access that liquidity. But even the best AMMs remain too expensive or too complicated, or both. The next generation of AMMs, automated market makers, will do for DeFi liquidity what Google Fiber did for internet speeds. Take what was already a quality product, in the case of the internet, broadband, and expand and improve it massively. The next generation of AMMs is what XLS30D is on the XRP ledger. It will reduce slippage, it will increase the ease of use for users, and make the entire experience cheaper by finding unique ways to encourage more liquidity to be provided. Every developer in DeFi and on Ethereum, Solana, are all trying to figure out ways to create a better user experience, new primitives and new innovations to remove the impermanent loss, the slippage, the front running, the sandwich attacks, and all the drawbacks that come with liquidity, the friction of the user experience. And the XRP ledger is ideally suited to provide that future generation of automated market makers, a game-changing liquidity solution for the next financial system. And this is the foundation that it will be built on.
Automated market makers on the XRP ledger could be a game changer, uniquely positioning it to leapfrog other DEXs.
All right, now my favorite part, the continuous auction mechanism. I'll explain it, but first let me tell you the problem that it solves. So this is a well-known problem with the AMMs, that is the volatility or asymmetric trading that causes the relative price of assets in the AMM pools go out of sync with that of the external markets. And we know that AMMs do not adjust the prices automatically due to the lack of external market information. So what happens as a result is that arbitrageurs intervene, but there's a problem. They have to wait until the profit from the transaction exceeds the trading fee. And second, they have to race or compete against other arbitrageurs, which reduces their success probability. What this implies is that during this wait window, while arbitrageurs are waiting, there is a decreased trading volume and thus decreased revenue for the pool. And second, when the arbitrageurs arbitrage, LPs lose because they make profit off of LPs' expense. I'll skip this, that what are the existing solutions. They have drawbacks. But our solution is the continuous auction mechanism. We think out of box. Instead of eliminating with other approaches, try to eliminate the problem of this volatility or asymmetric trading. Instead, we try to think that how we can optimize this problem for all participants. So we take a different approach. We create a mechanism that makes it easier for the arbitrageurs and also reduces the impact of impermanent loss for the liquidity providers. So the continuous auction mechanism, the AMM can sell off trading advantages for 24-hour periods at near zero trading fee. And the proceeds from this auction are divided between the previous slot holder and the AMM pool. So the expectation is that as the slot holder will have significant advantages for arbitrage, they will bid up the price of the auction slot to nearly the value that they expect to extract through this arbitrage. And as a result, we eliminate wait time and race condition for auction slot holder because now they do not have to wait before, now the arbitrageurs don't have to wait. Second, it reduces the impact of impermanent loss because there is this reduced window, there is no wait window. And additionally, liquidity providers reap a share of profits that would otherwise go to the arbitrageurs.
Is built around this function. The arbitrageurs earn from the volatility of the price movements. Up, down, up, down. The pool does not capture those volatility. It doesn't know the price, so it's not able to capture the difference in the price. So there's that volatility of just the natural price movements of the asset. Then there's the people who are swapping in the pool back and forth. That unbalances the pool. So now the arbitrageurs have to come in and balance that out. So they're earning arbitrage on top, even more profits. And then the idea of impermanent loss is if the price of one of the assets, if it's paired to say USD, say it's XRP, goes up in value, it has to sell XRP the whole way up. So that's the third way. So these three ways, the arbitrageurs are earning profits that the pool is not able to capture. Now, within those three, when there's just natural payment flows, there's people swapping back and forth, the XRP ledger has some unique features like the payment execution engine, which could run pathfinding and have orders stacked ready to go in the counterflow. So it can make arbitraging very, very efficient. And since David Schwartz, they built this for 10 years. This isn't a smart contract like DApp. This is a whole payment execution engine. And then you have an exchange with a matching order engine that has built-in objects to the ledger, which are offers. And then we have ODL and Liquidity Hub. So then you have this on top of it, you have this enterprise trading engine, basically, which is in the cloud and is a distributed exchange. It's an exchange network. So they're able to source all this liquidity so they could route or whatever programmed mechanisms, think of like smart order routing, can route these payment flows through. So if you could route natural volume through the pools, that's an advantage that other networks don't have. Every other DEX, literally almost every one, not anyone I'm aware of, has any other trading besides speculative trading and just the use of the token in like that network for its own DeFi or for some use in its own network. Not external like ODL, which is sourcing liquidity for cross-border payments. Ruth asks here then, is there a lower risk of impermanent loss on the XRPL AMM compared to other AMMs? David Schwartz replies, not really, but I'm hoping the gains from the payment integration, the continuous auction mechanism, and the harvesting more volatility for the reasons explained in the article will reduce the impact. So this significantly reduce the impact because it's going to allow the pool to capture value that no other AMMs are capturing. So the volatility of just the natural payment flows has nothing to do with impermanent loss. If XRP went from $1 to $1.02 to $1.01, back to $1.03, back to $1, back to 98 cents, and back to $1. And that's where it started. That's not impermanent. You didn't lose any impermanent loss, but somebody made money. So the arbitrageurs are making money. They're making profit that whole time. Now that's what's going to come back to the pool. It's going to allow the pool to capture value that no other AMMs are capturing.
One of the disadvantages of holding assets like XRP and Bitcoin is their volatility. All right, why do we have stablecoins? Because volatile assets are hard to hold and use. I'm hopeful that this combination of features in the AMM specification will turn that disadvantage into a significant advantage. AMMs will harvest volatility for yield. Volatility will drive market makers, which the AMM makes a spread, right? If the price of Bitcoin stays at $20,000, eventually everybody who wants to buy at $20,000 is bought and everybody who wants to sell at $20,000 is sold. It takes a movement in price to really drive that volume. And of course, volatility increases arbitrage or profits because the AMM gets more out of balance more, and the AMM gets a cut of those profits through the auction mechanism. So this could really turn the volatility of a digital asset from a downside to an upside. Super excited about it.
So this answers the question that I think has been on a lot of people's minds and a lot of people's thinking about. Is this volatility? Well, we're harvesting volatility for yield. If it's trending up to the right, that's where you want to be in these pools. And this is something that's coming. Like, it's not an if or a long time away. This is built, done.
But if you think of an asset as volatile and generally trending upwards, it makes much more sense. If you sell as Bitcoin goes up and buy as it goes down, you'll make a profit on sort of both sides of that, and a loop will result in trading profits. And of course, if there's a loop in price, if I buy Bitcoin at $50,000, whatever it does, if it comes back to $50,000, I'm even, right? I haven't made a gain or loss in the cycle. But if I was trading all the way and making a profit on each trade, then I'm up.
So David Schwartz here describes what it would be like putting liquidity into an AMM pool with a volatile asset that's trending up to the right. What asset is like that? Most cryptos, or the big ones, and especially XRP. If you think over the last 2-3 years, even more, 4 years, it's been up, down, up, down, up, down. And if you're providing liquidity, you're earning continuous fees. Now, the more volume that runs through the pool, obviously the more fees. But it's extracting this value from the arbitrageurs. They're doing a trading strategy. So they're selling high, buying low. Selling high, buying low, over and over and over again. Now, they're paying for that right. So the more they can make in the arbitrage, the more they're going to bid and pay. Now, they pay with the currency of the pool, which is the liquidity token, which is both the assets. Now, this is where I think it gets confusing and some people get lost. They say the LP token is burned. But you have to think of it like this. Think of it like, instead of it being burned, they're distributing that back to everybody in the pool. Like, they're giving it to the pool. So now your liquidity token is going to have more XRP and more USD every day. It's going to gain more just from that, from the arbitrage. That's something Uniswap does not have. No other DEX AMM has this. This is unique to the XRP ledgers AMM. And the AMM is going to be on the mainnet, but every sidechain is going to have AMMs too. Now, that means there'll be a ton of different options of where you can provide liquidity. Now, in the beginning, we'll see how it develops, but this is the value proposition for XRP according to David Schwartz.
The value proposition of XRP is that it has these liquidity pools.
And now, how does this compare to the volatility thing? Now, the price set theory, in the thought process of why it came about, I think was with good intentions, because it's like, how is this asset, which is volatile, going to be able to be used in these cross-border payment flows and all these other use cases if it's got this volatility? Well, logically, I guess, some people thought, oh, well, it's got to have a stable price. But now that was a theory, and it was a speculative theory. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, if you can't tie it to something, it's like, all right, let's start looking somewhere else of how this can go about. Because there was nothing that was pointing to XRP was going to be a stable coin. There's nothing. He's already said that. That was part of the 10 things that David Schwartz said. That makes no sense. It's impossible to hold a price like that. It's impossible to set a price. Anyone who tells you different, they don't know what they're talking about. So going forward, we know now that this is how you're able to harvest the volatility for yield. Because upwards and to the right, now you could have institutions, they could have their own strategies. Because on top of just that, you get the liquidity token. That is an asset. That is a currency on the ledger that represents a claim on XRP and USD. And it can be any pool pair. It could be XRP, BTC. And the payment execution engine and the pathfinding can route transactions through. That's built-in feature. That's like a smart contract feature built into the ledger. It does automatic cross-currency. And now they could take that liquidity token and they could go short with it. Or if you want, you could borrow against it, because even though you deposit XRP it's going to swap it half into USD. So now you're like, oh, wait, I don't have as much XRP if the price shoots up. Okay, well, now here's one strategy, not financial advice, but you could borrow against it. You could even borrow a very safe amount, because remember, the liquidity token is yield bearing. And this isn't a DApp token. This is, a blue chip crypto. And as there's more utility of it and more liquidity pools, if it's upward trending to the right, your yield bearing assets gaining yield from the arbitrage and the fees. And he says incentive program. So we'll see what that is and what that implies.
So people who provide liquidity to the automated market maker. So the automated market maker, in order to trade, it needs assets to trade with. And so people have to sort of loan it assets. They put the assets in the automated market maker's pools. And they get back liquidity tokens. These are tokens, issued assets that are tradable on the DEX that represent their proportional ownership. So these tokens can be traded on the DEX. You can hold them. You don't have to cash them in for your share of the pools if you want. You can just sort of move them around and use them as an asset. And for US holders, this should be very tax efficient. Your gains won't be realized until you sell or dispose of the liquidity token. So if you put a bunch of XRP and a bunch of Bitcoin in a liquidity pool for an AMM, you'll get back some liquidity tokens, which you can just hold. The AMM will do its thing, hopefully producing return for you. And then you can sell those liquidity tokens when you're done. And then that will be, if you're in the US, that's a taxable event, but your money can grow tax-free. Obviously not tax advice, consult experts, but I think we got it.
And now each pool will have a different fee rate and a different amount of volume. But let's just take, for example, the USD XRP pool. There'll probably be multiple of those, but those will probably have high volume through them. As this whole crypto market expands and we see more entities issuing tokens onto the blockchains, it could be deposit tokens, which I think are going to be big in the next year or two, or bank deposit tokens. Those will be able to go right in. And in Susan Athey's paper in 2018, everyone seems to forget this because everyone's so focused on ODL and they're so focused on corridors. But the reality is the storage demand from users who hold XRP, staking the pool, and those who want to now hold XRP because they can earn a return, and then they get this liquidity token. So this is, if it's a USD XRP pair, it's a hybrid stablecoin. And this gives XRP additional revenues, benefits, and opportunities with the introduction of AMM Pools, creating a positive feedback loop, which benefits holders with consistent yields and provides liquidity to the XRP ecosystem. LP tokens can be utilized like any other tokens on the XRP ledger and have the additional benefits, if it's paired with fiat, of being a 50-50 hybrid stablecoin with no slashing risks. These LP tokens will be attractive, trustless, yield-bearing, tax-free assets, which can be used to borrow against, leverage up, go short, and used in derivatives. So this is perfect collateral. It's super premium collateral is really what it is. And why are these LP tokens different than, say, like Uniswaps? Now, Uniswaps are already used in different DeFi protocols, like Aave accepts it, and it's like an NFT. But what's different about this is it's a guaranteed claim by the ledger. The Uniswap LP tokens are not guaranteed by the Ethereum blockchain. They're just guaranteed by the Uniswap dApp. So that's what makes this different. This is down at the blockchain layer. And it's a guaranteed claim. It's censorship resistant. It's like any other transaction that goes across the ledger. It's guaranteed. It's like an escrow. It's guaranteed to come out. There's nothing cryptographically that's going to stop that.
Now, another thing that happens is volatility. So external prices change, right? The price of XRP changes. The price of Bitcoin changes. That means the value of the assets the pool holds changes. And that drives up both arbitrage activity. There's only an opportunity to arbitrage if the price is out of whack. One source of the price being out of whack would be changes in the price. But also natural ledger activity, people making payments and offers. All of these things trade against the AMM instance, and the AMM makes a spread. But the trading strategies are something that I'm very, very interested in. If you think about what an automated market maker does, when the price goes up, it sells, and when the price goes down, it buys. That strategy, if you imagine, if you hold Apple stock and the price goes up and you sell, and then the price goes back down and you buy, you make a profit. If the price goes down and you buy and the price goes back up, you make a profit, and you sell, you make a profit. That's what an automated market maker does all day long. In addition, the automated market maker leverages the XRP ledger's inherent advantages. The XRP ledger has very, very fast transactions. The XRP ledger has very, very low transaction cost. These are things that will drive up the revenue and the efficiency of the automated market maker. So if the price of XRP goes up or down, and then it comes back in just a few seconds, if you were on a blockchain like Ethereum, there's no way that you could harvest that volatility because your transactions take several minutes to confirm. There's just no way that you can make that work. But because it is so fast, the trading algorithm can convert volatility into yield much, much more rapidly. Higher transaction fees mean that arbitrageurs wait to transact. If the transaction fee is $13 and you're only going to make $10, you don't submit the transaction, right? You have no choice but to wait. But because the transaction fees are so low on the XRP ledger and the transactions are so fast, that means arbitraging is going to be more efficient and the pool is going to be able to capture more volatility for yield. XRPL's low transaction fees, high transaction fees make arbitraging so much more competitive and so much faster that it reduces the pool's arbitrage losses and increases the pool's volatility gain. Lastly, the XRP ledger doesn't have block producers. Block producers, if you know what, anybody know what MEV is? So these are block producers who are finding ways to essentially front run. It would be illegal anywhere else, right? Miners, stakers, block producers, whatever you call them, can front run AMM transactions. But you can't do that on the XRP ledger because there aren't miners, stakers, or block producers. The consensus process doesn't allow any party to be the dictator of the moment to run the block. This makes arbitrage slots more valuable and should increase the returns on the continuous auctions, resulting in more liquidity token destruction and more yield.
Hello, everyone. Time for me to interfere with a small message. One thing Mickey doesn't mention enough, in my opinion, is pointing out the existence of the Mickey B. Fresh Patreon group. The Mickey B. Fresh Patreon group is a private educational channel where we focus on providing content based on facts and where we try to leave speculation at the door. As much as most of us like a little conspiracy theory, it is not a subject we cover in this group, and we will ask all future members to leave their 589 hoodies at the coat rack near the entrance. The goal of our group is to provide the crypto community with in-depth information about the coming explosion of everything being built in the XRP, SGB, and Flare and Root network ecosystems. We pride ourselves on transparency and evidence-based speculation of what is yet to pass. We have a large number of knowledgeable and helpful members who are willing to share and help you out with all the questions you have. Also, there is the opportunity to take advantage of the information provided daily by Mickey via posts, over 3,100 voice notes, or direct interaction by chat. We also have a loyal team of very knowledgeable DeFi standard admins who put a lot of time and effort into the Patreon group and are there to lend a helping hand if needed. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that we hold a live Telegram chat discussions every Saturday in which all members can actively take part. You can become a member of our Telegram group by signing up via the link that is posted on the homepage of the Mickey B. Fresh website.
Liquidity Hub is kind of like an enterprise solution to that problem. Ripple has always had these two halves, like one focusing on the enterprise solution, the building software that banks can use, very reliable. Liquidity Hub is like the professional enterprise solution to that problem, and sort of the XRP Ledger's DEX is part of the sort of bottom-up solution, the sort of solution for everybody. As far as how we see Liquidity Hub fitting into the other things that we're doing, we have a payments platform where you can source payments using cryptocurrencies, you can settle, intermediate, you can bridge, and we're in enterprises, we're in financial institutions, we're in their payment flows. As far as the future of the automated market maker, I think also Ripple's been working hard on identity solutions to allow more enterprise adoption, sanctions compliance particularly. Enterprises will not participate in any financial system where they might inadvertently accept money from or send money to like a sanctioned entity, because the penalties are just so high, they just won't do it. And so coming up with some sort of solution to those types of problems, I think is what we're going to be focusing on. Our 2023 emphasis is going to be around removing barriers to enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies. Enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies. Enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies.
To come as not a surprise to anyone, with Ripple focusing on enterprise DeFi. Tokenization, enterprise DeFi go hand in hand. The platform that could have compliance and still manage to be public and decentralized is going to gain a significant market share from the rest of the crypto market. And they are playing for a future world, to where the market is going to be in the next year or two, not where it's been 2 years ago or where it is now. So this is what their focus is. And we're going to have a whole proliferation of XRPL protocol sidechains. We're going to have the hooks, smart sidechain, coming in a couple months with Evernode's layer 2 smart contracts with hot pocket clusters. That's coming soon. That will help separate XRP from Ripple. And then Ripple could have enterprise DeFi, and you see this whole ecosystem born out. Then we get the EVM sidechain, and then we get the root network, and then we got Flare. I mean, it's just, and Songbird. I mean, it's just, that's what we know. I mean, as this starts to take off in this ecosystem, we're going to see it develop fairly rapidly, because in a way it has to almost, not overnight, but it's going to take some time. But all the pieces are being put in place. The amendments are there, and the digital identity and the verification system, that is huge to allow compliant DeFi. And SBI did the most radical, extensive pilot with JP Morgan, DBS Bank, and the Monetary Authority of Singapore last fall in Singapore. And they tested tokenizing assets on public blockchains. Everything was done on public, permissionless blockchains. And they tested what compliance we needed. So Ripple's now got all this information. SBI's testing this. So you could see how they're all doing this. And then they have the 50 universities. So University College of London put out an enterprise DeFi report on the Internet of Value, Ripple commissioned. So all of this stuff coming together here is leading to a path where the community needs to evolve. This is not going to be ride the coattails of Ripple time. I've said that again and again and again. I'm going to keep saying it because it's not. Big changes are going to happen, and we see things take a different direction than I think what most people think. This idea of saving the liquidity crisis and all that, it's nonsense. We have to move past that and focus on what's in front of us and continue to learn. And David Schwartz now here talks about RippleNet and Liquidity Hub and how Liquidity Hub will eventually tie in to the DEXs. But Ripple is two entities, RippleX and RippleNet, and they're going to tie together. And then we have a bunch of other projects, other things that come across the ledger. So it'll be less and less a focus about Ripple.
And so if we can introduce new technologies like Liquidity Hub and then subsequent enterprise DeFi products, maybe it's lending, maybe it's identity, you can think of RippleNet and Liquidity Hub as becoming a potential distribution platform and a potential pathway for enterprise adoption to those technologies. And I think we definitely see that as an opportunity. If you're looking at what can Ripple do that other companies might not be able to do, and we're going to focus on doing the things that play to our strengths. And so strength that we have is that we've been building enterprise software for a long time. We've got institutional adoption. We're in their payment flows. And so we're going to look for ways that we can take advantage of that.
things that we have is we have software that's right in the transaction processing of more than 100 banks. And so what do they have difficulty with that's sort of adjacent to what they're currently doing? And we're looking significantly to expand in terms of like what services we can provide them, whether that's like short-term loans off our balance sheet to help them make their payments more easy. Like one of the things that we've been big about is preventing banks from having to pre-place funds where they need them. And so one of the things that can help avoid having to pre-place funds is short-term loans. Another thing we've looked at is like, how can we draw on all of the liquidity in the cryptocurrency space in a way that's useful to banks that might be experimenting with cryptocurrency? So previously, our pitch to banks has been like, we'll make your fiat payments better. And so now we're thinking, well, banks and companies adjacent to banks, like companies deciding to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, for example, are now starting to do things like with cryptocurrency. So now we're going to have to go back to those and say, look, you want to accept payments in cryptocurrencies, but you want to hold them in fiat, or you need to make outbound payments. Like we can adapt that better by drawing on the liquidity, by using our expertise of plugging into sort of like the boundaries between the cryptocurrency and the fiat payment space. Or we have an agreement with an exchange that does the last mile of payments. So let us offer that to you as a service. So that's kind of what we've been thinking of, like what leverages our strengths as a company that provides our customers on the RippleNet side with like solutions to problems that they actually have. One of the things that we have is we have software that's right in the transaction processing of more than 100 banks.
As far as the future, the automated market maker, I think also Ripple's been working hard on identity solutions to allow more enterprise adoption, sanctions compliance particularly. Enterprises will not participate in any financial system where they might inadvertently accept money from or send money to like a sanctioned entity, because the penalties are just so high, they just won't do it. And so coming up with some sort of solution to those types of problems, I think is what we're going to be focusing on. Our 2023 emphasis is going to be around removing barriers to enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies. Removing barriers to enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies. Removing barriers to enterprise adoption to DeFi technologies.
Within the industry are doing a step up to provide that?
Well, currently we have Ripple Names, which is essentially attaching a name to an account so that you don't have this long address that's very difficult for human beings to understand, that it reduces that complexity. Longer term, we're working on an identity system that's going to be a distributed identity system where the consumers have control over their identity. Longer term, we're working on an identity system that's going to be a distributed identity system where the consumers have control over their identity. The other thing that we're doing is working with regulators and insurers and finding out what they need so that we can find ways to provide it. But we want to see this mainstream. We want to see the inefficiencies in remittances and in payments go away. The security and stability improvements and scalability improvements have been phenomenal, and I think that's part of the reason why the XRP ledger has been able to operate for more than 10 years. I know it's never sexy because like it's been working and it's still working, and when you make it better, like, well, what was wrong with it before? Like, but that continuous improvement. I know it does. It's not very exciting, but really, like from a technical standpoint, it's just exciting to me that the network has kept up with the increasing demand, and that's not magic. That's an effort put into improving its performance, reliability, and that kind of thing. As far as my take on AI, I think it's going to be transformative, but I don't think it's going to be an overnight. I think everybody thinks that a new technology, even the internet, which undoubtedly transformed many, many different things, did not do so overnight. It did so in a fairly gradual way, and I don't buy the argument that like future transformations are going to be more rapid. I think we're going to see more and more use of AI I've used it myself. It's funny, it's actually kind of funny. I'm not good at handling like emotionally charged situations, like when a project fails and I have to tell the team like, hey, you guys did your best. And like AI is great at drafting. I look at them and I'm like, God, that's fantastic. Yeah. It's a little horrible to think that like, I'm not good at that as a human being and a machine is better at it than I am. But it's true. It's true. There are certain tasks that AI is really, really good at, but I'm not one of the people who thinks that it's going to like transform the world overnight or destroy the world. So I'm not nervous about it yet.
The cool design features of XRP Ledger, we have added some novel, innovative features that further differentiates it from the AMMs on other blockchains. The first one being the continuous auction mechanism. And I'll talk about it in details later in the talk. But this feature allows a lot of profit that would otherwise just go to the arbitrageurs to be split between the arbitrageurs and the liquidity providers. And this enhancement basically provides benefits for all the participants in the ecosystem, meaning the LP providers get better returns, arbitrageurs get efficient and fair chance to capture volatility profits, and the traders get always get liquidity because there is lower downtime.
And remember, you get a liquidity token. So you're getting an asset back that then you can deploy. So it's more than just, oh, I'm earning trading fees. You're earning the arbitrage as well. And that's distributed proportionally. And some of these pools, they could bid up, depending on how much they're arbitraging, a considerable amount.
Key differentiating features of our AMM proposal on XRP Ledger, which leverages both the inherent advantages of the XRP Ledger as well as some of the novel design features that we have added to AMM to solve for the problems that I talked about on the previous slides. So first is the protocol native. This is an AMM which is protocol native, meaning AMM's native fixed function code allows it to inherit the natural advantages of the XRP Ledger, thus making it more efficient, cheaper, and secure compared to AMMs on other blockchains. No front running or MEV. It's another benefit that is inherited from the XRP Ledger's federated consensus mechanism because there are no miners or block producers that can prioritize transactions based on fee, and thus this problem does not exist on XRP Ledger. Another feature is the DEX integration. So on XRP Ledger, the CLOB, that is the central limit order book based DEX, and the AMM have excellent synergies. We combine both, aggregate liquidity from both, meaning it provides better liquidity and hence better pricing, providing the best of both worlds. Another feature is the single-sided liquidity provision. So this means usually on most of the AMMs on other blockchains, one has to deposit, they only allow for equal asset deposits and withdrawals, but we allow for single-sided LP withdrawal, meaning any deposit and withdrawal, meaning anyone can easily participate as an LP. Only a single asset is required to contribute to a pool. The protocol behind the scenes swaps on an LP's behalf to maintain the ratio of the assets in the pool, thus decreasing the number of steps for the users and improving the user experience.
So it's not just about holding XRP anymore. It's clear the XRP community has to evolve with the evolution of the XRPL ecosystem in order to make the most of the trustless pools of global liquidity that this distributed exchange provides. In the near future, there will be a variety of ways to utilize XRP that will offer additional revenue, benefits, and opportunity, creating utility, liquidity, and value to the XRP ecosystem and network. The more engaged the XRP holders are, the more the network will grow once the AMM pools are established, and there's a steady volume running through them with numerous options for users to off-ramp to fiat bank accounts. There's no reason to choose a centralized exchange over the benefits of a decentralized, trustless, real-time, gross settlement, payment system, and currency exchange. Utilizing XRP in the form of liquidity tokens provides the hybrid stablecoin, the 50-50 value balanced of the two assets in the pool. Depending on the price of XRP, this is far more attractive an asset than a liquid derivative of staked ETH, and it has no slashing risks. It's a guaranteed claim. Unlike liquid derivatives of ETH, they're issued by other entities like Lido or Rocket Pool or Coinbase. This is guaranteed by XRP Ledger and provides a second layer of locking. So the LP token can actually go in its own pool then to go earn fees in that too. So they're creating this like black hole of liquidity, and the community is just getting familiar with it. But on an overall scale, this is going to flip the whole idea of how impermanent loss is thought of as you just lose more exposure to it. But there'll be other ways to counter that. Because you have this LP token, you're able to, one, you could borrow against it because it's got 50% less volatility. So you could borrow against it, XRP, very conservatively, very low risk, not financial advice, but that could be a way, same exposure now, if not more. You can put it in any type of derivatives to hedge. Now, if the price of XRP then shoots up, you hedge, and then you earn the same amount. So all these things will be available around these AMMs. Since they're built at the blockchain layer, it allows for a whole ecosystem of derivatives. So people talk about, the derivatives market. Well, you're about to see a massive derivative market built on chain that's going to be much bigger than derivatives market that you see in traditional finance. We've only seen DeFi for not even 3 years since DeFi summer. And the XRP ledger has a built-in DEX into its network, into the blockchain layer. The automated market makers are going to be built into the network layer. The payment execution engine is built into the network layer. Those three components are what allow the XRP ledger's automated market makers, DEX order book, and payment execution engine to provide a game-changing liquidity solution for the next financial system. And this is the foundation that it will be built on.